Here at Sockeye, we value keeping our clients up to date on the latest news and information about the industry and the products that they're using, as well as different products they could be using if they're looking to upgrade or change their current solution. Either way, we want to make sure that we have a good relationship with them. And one of the ways that we help our clients stay up to date is by hosting webinars about the various products that we offer and the things happening in the broader industries that they're in. Here's a clip from one of our recent webinars where you can dive into a little bit of information that we talk about with regards to Sage Intacct and the dashboard features that it offers.
Jumping back into these dashboards here. So just really quickly, before I dig into some of the details, I just kind of want to talk about, sort of what these dashboards are, what they represent for us, and what it is that we can do with them. And so with these dashboards, we can have as many as we want. And so what that means is that we can custom tailor these dashboards to entities or locations or departments or individual users if I want to. I just have a few. It's a demo environment, right? I don't have a ton. I've got some role-based examples here. But I'm going to start at the top and start talking about some of these elements here. And so here at the top right, I have a number of filters that I added to this dashboard. This is not a comprehensive list of the filters we have available. These are just kind of the ones I felt worked best with this report set. And so I've got a date filter here. I've got a department filter I can use. I've got locations. This could be entities. It could be physical locations. It could be groups of physical locations if I wanted to look at profitability by region, for example. And then I've got this jobs filter here. And I think this one does a good job of kind of highlighting what it is that we can do with these filters and with these dashboards. And so with this jobs filter, I could filter down by an individual job. I could filter down by a line of work or industry served. Ultimately, however it is that you guys kind of define these groupings as better needing to utilize performance against. But I can also filter by an individual project manager if I want to. So if I come in and I hit Dennis, or I grab up Dennis rather and hit apply here, this entire dashboard then re-renders. And I'm only looking at those projects that Dennis is assigned as that project manager on. And so I think this is the best point to kind of step back and talk about that dimensional GL within Intacct. So when we think about older legacy systems, what we most commonly see, and I'm sure some of you guys have seen this, is kind of an absolutely massive chart of accounts, right? It's typically segmented. We have our base account and then we have our sub accounts appended to that. And those sub accounts essentially represent certain attributes that we're trying to code against and then better break out within our reporting. So within Intacct, we approach this really differently. We use these things called dimensions. And so these dimensions are essentially just standalone fields at the point of transaction entry. And so what we end up with is a much more dynamic data set. And so I think the best way I've kind of found to describe this from sort of a sky high level is you can kind of think about all of the data within Intacct within this giant master Excel file. And our rows would essentially represent those records and transactions, and our columns would represent those dimensions. And so we can take that and start slicing and dicing and pivoting all that data to show it in whichever way we want. And then at the end of the day, the result of this is that we end up actually condensing our chart of accounts to just those base accounts. And we actually simplify our higher level of financial statement reporting, right? Because in this kind of old way of doing things, in the legacy systems with the segmented chart of accounts, anytime we identified a new attribute that we wanted to start breaking out and coding against, what we'd have to do is essentially expand our chart of accounts, maybe add 50 new P&L accounts for a new department that we want to start coding against, right? So with an Intacct, we can just come in and actually add a new dimension and start coding against it. So we're not having to regroup, recreate, rewrite all those reports that we had created in the past. Now, actually, before I clear that filter, I'm going to click on this job record here. So you'll notice I clicked on that blue hyperlink. Anywhere we see a blue hyperlink on this dashboard signifies to us that we can drill into that information. In this case, it's taking me to the job record. But if we're looking at a balance, for instance, I could get into the source transactions. But as I'm sitting at this job record, if I scroll down, I can see that's where Dennis was tagged as that project manager. And so that's what's allowing that filterability on this dashboard.
That's all for now. But if you like this content, be sure to leave us a like and subscribe down below. And if you're curious about signing up for one of our future webinars, make sure to check out the link in the description where you can go to our webinar page and sign up for one of the upcoming webinars that we have. And I'll see you in the next video.